Hi, it's Dave Diegelman with Equity Real Estate here for our January 2026 real estate market report for Southern Utah. Let's go to the numbers. Well, first of all, let's look at the sold listings right here that we have. Last month we had 442 that closed, and last year at the end of January we had 337. So that's a significant increase. And if we look at that versus the inventory, our active listings, and you can see they came down in October, November to December. So that could be good news, could be bad news. We still have a fair amount of inventory, but we're not up as high as we were. At our peak, we were at 2,500, and right now we're at 2,200. So it seems like we're headed to a more healthy market. Listing prices, the average median sale price was $504,000. Last year it was $500,000, so that's pretty much flatlined. Absorption rate in months. This is how many months worth of inventory we have versus the sales that we have. So right now we're at 5.1. Last year at the end of January we were at 4.43. At our peak we're at 5.88. So again, this looks like it's coming into a little bit healthier area. Sold to list ratio. This looks like a big nosedive. However, like I say every month, it goes from about 1% difference. 94.6 currently, and last year at the end of January it was 95.7. So not a ton of difference there. Again, this is representing more of a healthy market. And days on the market, currently down at 77.7. Our high was at 82.8. Last year at the end of January, we were at 79.5. So again, this is coming into a much healthier area than what we've been in the last 3 months. Price volume, let's look at the sold volume. This is how many millions of dollars worth of inventory sell each month. 274,623, 156 currently from last month. And the year before at the end of January, we were at 189 and some change. So again, that's very, very healthy. And what we're seeing here, and you can see this in my breakdown this month in the market report, we're seeing a lot more of our luxury market starting to kick in and affect these numbers right here in the price volume and the overall volume, even though they're not dominating the charts, and we'll look at that shortly. Now, if you haven't checked out the hard copy of our monthly report, it is down below. If you can look in the comments, we have a link to it. And we do have links to the major zip codes of Washington County and a year-end report showing kind of exactly what's going on with each one of those. You can also go to UtahDreamHomes.com and look at the blog section and find that. But those are very interesting reports when you look at zip code by zip code and what's actually going on with those markets. Sold listings. We're going to look at the price categories we have right here. So our largest price category that we have in numbers is still 500 to 749,000. And that increased this year over last year 13.4%. Next category was surprising to me, 350 to 399, and it's down 3.6%. And then we go into the 750 to $1 million, and it's up 1.1%. And then we go into the 400 to 449, which is up 2.3%. Overall, we are looking at positive of 4.4 for the whole year. So that's a 4.4% increase. But what I found interesting was the $2 to $3 million mark, which we didn't have a ton of inventory there, but there was enough to make sense of the numbers. Let me put it that way. We had 48 that sold this year versus 46 last year. And then in the 3 to 5 million, we actually closed out 31 properties in that range. And then 5 million plus, we closed out 9. So we are seeing these numbers increase year by year. And that's just telling me that our luxury market is very, very stable and growing. Active listings on the market, pretty much similar to what the sold listings are in the categories. The largest segment that we have is the 500 to 750,000, which we have 3,187 listings, and that's up 20% from last year. And then we go into the 750 to a million. We're up 6.3% on that. The next category is going to be 350 to 400,000. We're up 3.3%. And then again, when we look at the luxury market, we're up in every single one of those categories as far as listings. So we have a ton of inventory from 2 million up to 5 million plus compared to what we've had in the past. It's up from 21 to 69%. And as I mentioned, if you have a chance to look at our hard copy of this, not hard copy, but web copy of this report, you will see, and that if you have a chance to look at the web copy of this report, which the link is listed down below, you will see that we broke out the different zip codes in the greater St. George area, and we have each zip code broken down into segments and market reports. It's pretty fascinating to see what's happened with the different markets and how it changes zip code to zip code. Also this month in our newsworthy section, we talk about pending home sales snapshot, and it shows the home values in the U.S. are still quite strong. So this is a national look, and that definitely affects southern Utah because we're always way above what the national averages are. So it looks like 2026 is going to be kind of a banner year for southern Utah. Well, maybe not a banner year, but it's going to be a growth year in southern Utah. National Association of Realtors unveils the top 10 home buying hotspots for 2026. And it was interesting that Salt Lake area came in that list. And of course, we sell a lot of our homes to the market from Salt Lake. So people buying second homes or moving from Salt Lake to us. So that definitely speaks for a strong 2026 for Washington County. And then we look at the credit score you need for a zero down payment loan. So for first-time home buyers, which we don't have a ton of in southern Utah, this gives you some of the strategies and the looks at what you need for a down payment in credit score. And we have a series of webinars that's going to address issues like this for both buyers and sellers. And those webinars will feature local professionals that are in different fields that are applicable for each thing that we look at. So that's going to be a real interesting part of 2026. Again, those are going to be scheduled on the third Wednesday of each month and at 1 p.m. And you are able to participate in it, watch it, and also email in for questions during that live show. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I look forward to a prosperous 2026 for everyone. God bless you. And if you have any questions, if I can help you with anything, feel free to give me a call on my direct private line. It's 435-703-4041.